Court makes decision on 8 police officers' handling of homeless people. New facility opens for residents of subdivided flats. International Security Forum in Beijing continues into second day. Hello and welcome to TVB News. 8 police officers were accused of attacking homeless people, destroying their belongings and framing them during operations in Sham Shui Po in 2020. A Hong Kong court today found 6 of the 8 policemen involved guilty. The other 2 defendants were acquitted. Memo Singhai reports.
The 8 officers left the district court in Wan Chai after their hearing. The 6 convicted defendants were granted bail. In 2020, the 8 police officers went to Dong Chau Street Park in Sham Shui Po twice for anti-drug operations. In the process, the officers were accused of assaulting homeless people, destroying their belongings, and framing the street sleepers for possessing drugs. The 8 pleaded not guilty to the 10 charges. The district court today handed down its ruling, and 2 of the defendants were found not guilty. Defendant Kot Ji Sing was charged with inflicting grievous bodily harm after one street sleeper suffered a bone fracture. The court said while a medical report shows the homeless person has suffered the injury, it is difficult to prove the bone fracture was caused by Kok when CCTVs in that area were obscured. The court also dropped Kok's 2 charges of criminal damage, destroying the belongings of 2 street sleepers with a golf club. Hon Ting Kwon was charged with 2 counts of misconduct in public office, that Hon did not stop Kwok from damaging the items nor did he report him. Hon's charges were quashed after the court said one of the items could have been included in the belongings. The judgment said it is uncertain if the officer could identify personal belongings within the pile. The convicted officials will make their mitigation plea on October 8th. Rooms 9, TVB News.
The government said more than 50,000 crimes were recorded in the first 7 months of the year. Scam cases are the top crime. Between January and July, over 24,000 scam cases were recorded, accounting for 45% of total crime cases. Among them, 60% were online scam cases. Undersecretary for Security Michael Chook reminds residents to be cautious of potential traps from scammers, especially callers who claim they're customer service staff. The Independent Commission Against Corruption filed charges against a former primary school principal after he was suspected of defrauding the school of over $270,000. The 47-year-old man, surnamed Chan, was the former principal of YCH Chu Tsang Hock Wan Primary School in Qingyi. The ICAC received complaints that Chan falsely claimed to school staff that he did not receive his March and April salary last year. He claimed that he did not receive the money owing to a bank transfer failure. The school later paid Chan over $150,000 retroactively via check. Chan also said he was granted permission by the school's chairman to extract money from the school's bank account for school-related activities. The ICAC later found that the $120,000 he extracted was placed in his private bank account. He was charged with committing 4 offenses under the theft ordinance and is due to appear in court next Tuesday. The 4th community living room in Hong Kong, designed for use by residents of subdivided flats, was put into service today. Chief Secretary for Administration Eric Chan said roughly 600 such households can benefit from the communal area in To Kwa Wan. Memo Singhai reports.
The To Kwa Wan community living room is almost 7,000 square meters, the largest one in the city. Being a pilot government project, the living room is to provide support for targeted individuals, subdivided flat residents from the Kowloon City district who meet the income requirements of the project. Qualified residents can apply for membership and book certain facilities. For instance, members can use this shared kitchen, which has 8 sets of cooking equipment. After cooking, they can share and eat their meals in this dining area with other users. A laundry room is available for members to wash or dry their clothes after paying $8 for each service. Apart from the basic facilities, additional setups can also be found in a communal space, such as this multimedia room. How about some music time? Users who wish to play instruments here can book one of the 2 music studios, a special facility in the Toan community living room. An opening ceremony was held in the morning, officiated by Chief Secretary for Administration Eric Chan. Chan said authorities aim to help subdivide the flat residents by offering them a spacious area to conduct their daily activities. He added donations from the business sector and consulting services on topics such as academics and health are also available. The site will operate until June 2027. Minus 9, TVB News.
Former top judge Sam Ho-Fai has been confirmed by Macau's election committee as the sole candidate for the upcoming chief executive election after the nomination period ended yesterday. The nomination period lasted 15 days. Sam received 386 nominations in total, which makes up more than 96% of election committee members. The committee said it will conduct a review of Sam's nomination and confirm the CE candidates list by the 20th of this month at the latest. The enclave will hold a candidate manifesto Q&A session on the 28th of this month. The second day of the 3-day Xiangshan Security Forum was held in Beijing today. Defense Minister Dong Jun called on countries to build a world free from fear and universal security. Dong urged the world to recognize the concept that every country has the right to maintain their own security and also the responsibility to jointly maintain world security. Only by fully respecting and safeguarding each country's security concerns can the world become truly free, he said. The 3-day conference focuses on promoting peace for a shared future amid multiple conflicts around the world. President Xi Jinping earlier sent a congratulatory letter. Xi pointed out that China has been implementing the Global Security Initiative for a world facing profound change of a scale unseen in a century. He said Beijing is committed to building a world of lasting peace and universal security. North Korean state media today released images of leader Kim Jong-un visiting the Nuclear Weapons Institute, watching a rocket test and handling guns at a special forces display. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un recently pledged to produce exponentially more nuclear weapons and ensure they were ready for use. He praised Pyongyang's development of centrifuge technology to create weapons-grade nuclear material. A separate series of photos shows Kim watching his latest rocket launcher test, which was detected by South Korea and Japan on Thursday. Both countries condemned the multiple launches, which were likely to be in response to recent South Korean drills with the United States. Kim was also shown with guns and watching Special Forces soldiers go through their paces. Still ahead, Red Cross calls on residents to give blood as blood stock runs very low. Vladimir Putin warns the West against letting Ukraine use long-range weapons against Russia. And the Pope concludes his four-nation trip and leaves Singapore. Welcome back. The Hong Kong Red Cross is appealing for blood donations as inventories have become depleted to just 3 to 4 days of stock. The blood transfusion service say they're in particular need of blood types O, A, and B. Timothy Lee tells us more.
The Red Cross's blood transfusion service is currently in dire need of blood donations. The organization said there have been challenges in receiving blood donations in recent times, owing to unstable weather conditions and residents traveling abroad during the summer. This, combined with the comparatively high use of blood by hospitals in recent days, have led to a close-to-empty inventory containing just 3 to 4 days' supply of blood. With the Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day holidays approaching, the Hong Kong Red Cross urged members of the community to donate blood and help save lives. They said blood types O, A, and B are urgently needed. Hong Kong Red Cross Blood Transfusion Service Chief Executive Dr. Lee Kwong noted they need more than 650 packs of blood each day to retain stable operations. But the organization only received 360 packs on the day when the gale storm signal number 8 was issued, and even fewer the day after. The Red Cross also raised concerns about a surge in residents becoming infected during the upcoming winter flu season, with such individuals unsuitable for donating blood. And fewer youngsters are donating blood. They aim to combat this by organizing more blood donation activities in secondary schools and universities during the early days of the new school year. The organization said healthy individuals aged between 16 and 65 who weigh 41 kilograms or above are suitable to donate blood. They can make appointments via the Blood Transfusion Service's website, mobile app, or telephone. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
Overseas in the U.S., machinists at aircraft maker Boeing have voted to go on strike, another setback for the aviation giant whose reputation and finances have been battered by a series of mishaps. The International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers said its members rejected a contract that would have raised pay 25% over 4 years. The union, representing some 33,000 workers, voted 94.6% to reject the contract and 96% to strike.
So tonight, our members voted across Puget Sound, Portland, Moses Lake, Victorville, Edwards Air Force Base, and other remote locations. This is about respect. This is about addressing the past. And this is about fighting for our future. Our members rejected the contract by 94.6%.
Very little has gone right for Boeing this year, from a panel blowing out and leaving a gaping hole in one of its passenger jets in January, to NASA leaving 2 astronauts in space rather than sending them home on a problem-plagued Boeing spacecraft. U.S. President Joe Biden will host the leaders of Australia, India, and Japan, the so-called Quad countries, next weekend in his hometown of Wilmington in the state of Delaware. The White House said the decision showcases Biden's deep personal relationships with the leaders.
At the beginning of this administration, President Biden made the decision to take the Quad to the leader level, and next weekend, President Biden will host the 4th in-person Quad Leader Summit in Wilmington, Delaware. The President looks forward to welcoming Prime Minister of Australia, Prime Minister of India, and the Prime Minister of Japan. This will be President Biden's first time hosting foreign leaders in Wilmington as president, a reflection of his deep personal relationships with each of the Quad leaders and the importance of the Quad to all of our countries.
Jean-Pierre said the Quad Leaders Summit will focus on bolstering strategic convergence among the countries. That's in addition to advancing their shared vision of what she called a free and open Indo-Pacific region, and delivering concrete benefits for partners in the Indo-Pacific in key areas. Biden was the first American president to host a summit of the Quad leaders in 2021. Annual Quad summits have taken place since then, as the U.S. looked to pivot its foreign policy focus to the Indo-Pacific region and the growing power of China. South Korea said its armed forces have removed some 1,000 CCTV cameras and servers that originated from or were linked to China. The South Korean military noted on Friday that a joint review conducted with the Intelligence Department in July found more than 1,300 CCTV cameras used by the military were made in China. The devices would occasionally connect with Chinese servers. Owing to security concerns, the South Korean armed forces decided to switch all such cameras with locally made ones. Pope Francis wrapped up his visit to Singapore today by praising its tradition of interfaith harmony. Daniel Rao tells us more.
Pope Francis presided over a gathering of young people from some of the religious traditions present in Singapore, where mosques, Buddhist temples and Christian churches stand side by side among the city-state's iconic skyscrapers. In a sign he was enjoying himself, Francis ditched his speech and urged the youth to take risks, even if it means making mistakes. However, he came back to the topic at hand to make his main point about the need for people of different faiths to engage in constructive dialogue, rather than insist on the righteousness of their particular beliefs. The Pope said all religions are a path to arrive at God. They are like different languages to arrive there, but God is God for all. Francis was in Singapore to encourage its Catholics, who make up about 3.5% of the population of just under 6 million, while highlighting Singapore's tradition of interfaith coexistence. According to a 2020 census, Buddhists make up about 31% of Singapore's population, Christians 19% and Muslims 15%. The Pope praised the city-state's economic development, but also made one public appeal, that Singapore should treat its immigrant workers with dignity and a fair wage. In public remarks, he avoided any controversial issues, such as Singapore's use of capital punishment, which Francis has declared is inadmissible in all circumstances. Today's gathering was Francis's last event before he boarded a plane for the 12-hour flight back to Rome. Francis's 11-day journey took him to Indonesia, Papua New Guinea and East Timor before Singapore. The 32,814 kilometers by air clocked for the trip make it the longest and farthest of his pontificate. Dan Rowell, TVB News.
That's the news. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.